All right, we're going to be doing solving percent per problems, which is section 3.7. So using the proportions, our percent proportion is A over B equals P over 100, where A is the part, B is the base or the whole, and P is the percent. That's why it's over 100, so it's always going to be the percent above 100. What percent of 25 is 17? So we have to figure out which one of these is the part, which one is the whole. Well, of 25, that's telling us that the whole is going to be 25, so that's going to go on the bottom. 17 is the part of the whole. We have to solve for the percent. We can now do cross products or multiply both sides by 100, whatever you prefer, and we'll get 68%. When you have a percent, you always have to do that label on the end. You can't just say P equals 68. What percent of 20 is 15? So this one's the exact same. 15 is our part, 20 is our whole, and that's 75%. Doesn't matter how you solve it, whenever you prefer. What number is 30% of 90? So we know that 90 is our whole. It's giving us the 30 over 100, so we're solving for A. Cross multiply, and we know that 27 is 30% of 90. Okay, so that was the proportion, the percent proportion. We could also use something called the percent equation, which is A equals P percent times B. That's going to give you the exact same answer. So you can use whichever one you prefer. I'm not going to be picky. Find a percent using the percent equation. What percent of 136 is 51? So we're trying to solve for the percent, so we know that's the P percent. And 136 is your whole, that's your B, and we're trying to figure out 51. So to get the P alone, we do 51 divided by 136. Gotta get that P alone. So P percent equals 0.375 when you divide that out. And you have to write your answer as a percent. You cannot leave it as a fraction. To change that into a percent, you have to move the decimal place over 2 places. So this is 37.5%. Okay, let's continue using the percent equation. What number is 15% of 88? Percent times 88, 13.2. When you do this, though, you need to be really careful. Make sure you change the percent to a decimal. 0.15 times 88 is 13.2. If you just left it as 15, you'd get a really big number, and it wouldn't make any sense that your part would be bigger than your whole. That's how you can check and make sure you got that right. What percent of 56, so that's your whole. Oops. We're trying to solve for that P percent, is 49. Divide both sides, and once you change it to a percent, P is 87.5%. This one's set up the exact same way. 11 is P percent of 55. P is 20%. What number is 45% of 92? So that's 0.45. I'm changing it to decimals so you can see what we did there. Times 92. So A is 41.4. What number is 140% of 50? So solving for A, 140% as a decimal is 1.4 times 50. A is 70. Okay, so that was every time we were either finding the percent or the part. Now we're going to find a base using the percent equation. 20 is 12.5% of what number? 20 is 12.5% as a decimal is 0.125 of what number? So that's our base. That's what we're trying to solve for. Divide both sides by 0.125, and our base is 160. So again, I'll show you what we did there. Divide by 0.125. use a calculator, or long division by hand, and B is 160. A survey asked 220 students to name their favorite pasta dish. Find the percent of students who chose a given pasta dish. So down below we have the table that is all the information we need. How many chose macaroni and cheese? So we need to know how many there are total. That was 220, said in the problem. So 33 as our part. We're trying to solve for that percent of 220 because 33 students liked macaroni and cheese the best. So divide, you get 0.15, which is 15%. Lasagna, 40 students liked lasagna the best. Trying to solve for the percent out of the whole of 220. Divide both sides by 220, percent is 0.18, or 18%. Okay, we got a couple extra practice problems on the bottom. 65 is 62.5% of what number? Still me, we're trying to solve for the B. 0.625 times B. B is 104. 50 is 125% of what number? The whole, again, is 40. Alright, so that was percent, solving percent problems.